Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Berwick Augustin, and this is session 2 of MCC Live to You of our creative writing series. So today we're going to take what we started last time. We're going to take our rough draft, and we're going to add sensory language to it. And again, this is a series. Just as I talk about writing poetry, I indulge myself in showing you how to do it as we do it together. And again, whatever it is that you learn, whatever it is that you create, put it in the comments, put it in the chat, like the video, share it, and the whole nine. Okay. So I told you guys last time that I love to show videos for my visual learners so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Because the thing about sensory language is that a poem can be kind of dry, right? And so to add some flavor to it, to spice it up, you in order to engage your readers, it's a more powerful way to show them instead of telling them. And the best way to do that is to use something that we all can relate to, because we all have our five senses: our sense of smell, touch, hear, feel, right? All of those senses that I have, you have. And so the minute you begin to engage your audience members, then they're able to really relate and come along with the journey that you want to bring them on, whatever topic that you write about. And so our topic just happens to be COVID-19, because we're writing about how to be able to deal and navigate through this pandemic that we are all going through across the world. Okay. So to get us started, I am going to show my screen and show you guys what I mean by show versus tell, right? And again, I'm talking about the five senses, right? So you can write something for example, as far as touch, right? And this might not be my best example, but I'm just coming up with it off the top of my head, right? So if we're talking about being nervous, right? And a lot of us use the saying that somebody has cold feet, right? So the minute you say that, people can relate to that. They know what you're talking about, right? They know that you're talking about somebody being nervous. And those of us who've been there, you know what that means, right? Let's take another one. So let's think about sound, right? And so if we're talking about the seasons, right? We know how seasons change, so on and so forth. Let's say if you write something like lullabies of birds chirping, right? So it sounds a lot better, and it reaches your audience a lot more effective, right? It's a lot more effective when you say lullabies of birds chirping, because I can actually hear that. Like, right? Most of us have heard birds chirping, right? And so when you put it that way, you color it, and it's beautiful, right? So let's think about another one. Let's think about, I know everybody likes to eat, right? This is another one of our five senses, right? So instead of saying something tastes good, right? The delightful flavor of sweet caramel ice cream, right? I don't know, whatever it is that is your favorite food, right? Let's do sight, right? Let's do sight. So instead of saying, let's just do sight. So let's say if you want to paint a picture, right, for someone about how something felt really smooth while you were drinking it or whatever, right? You could say something like the juice cascaded down my throat, right? However you want to end that, right? Let's do one more. Let's do the last one. Feel, right? So let's say if it's hot outside, right? You can say it's hot, it's cool. But again, you can use something like the raging temperature, right? You color the words, and it beautifies your poem, right? So that's what we're going to do today. So before we get started on our rough draft, again, remember our rough draft? Let me just give you a backdrop for those of you who weren't with us on the first one. All right, so we started with just brainstorming COVID-19, and we got to these 4 ideas. Then we added the 3 things on each idea, right? And out of that brainstorm session, we came up with this rough draft right here that I wrote, right? So hopefully you have your rough draft. And again, I'm using Microsoft Word, very simple, right? You can create a table and just do this and be able to see exactly how your poem is evolving, okay? So before we get into this poem, I am going to show you guys a video. Remember I told you I like to show videos, right? So let's watch a video about sensory language. All right, so we're back to our poem. So hopefully the video helped, okay? So now together, you guys are going to help me navigate this, right? And hopefully you got your poem out, you got your rough draft out, and put it side by side just so that you can see how you're changing certain things, right? And some of these lines may totally change, right? Don't feel like you have to keep the exact same line, because sometimes you can write a rough draft and the second draft, you may start a whole different poem, right? Or you may start 2 or 3 poems because you realize, I could break this into like different parts. And some lines you may just get rid of, and some lines you may just add, right? And so we're gonna see this. We're gonna see this in this process, because that's what happens. And that's why the first one is called a rough draft, okay? So now that we know exactly what we're going to use, let's get started. So Corona Chronicles captured the crazy of 2020 from COVID-19. That's it's true. It's okay. I think about for me, how can I capture my audience by saying how it made me feel, right? So it's hard to smile. when you're trying to survive, um, and the eye of a typhoon. Now I put that because for me, I feel like this whole situation has been just crazy. I've been feeling like for me, I've been feeling like I'm in an eye of a hurricane or typhoon, and that's what COVID-19 has been. So I think I like the sound of that one instead of saying Chronicles captured the crazy year of 2020. Maybe I'll go back and change it. All right, so let's leave that for now. Okay, and see what I'm talking about? Like, that came to me, and I changed the beginning. Now nothing transferred over to that, right? And that's perfectly okay. All right, don't get married to your rough draft because things happen, or even the second draft, or even the third. Most writers end up writing their drafts 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, so that's perfectly okay. All right, so let's see. Health and racial pandemic. People of color seem to be dying faster, little to no access to justice and proper health care, but who cares? Since I'm talking about, and the good thing about when you're writing, you want to make sure that that one stanza flows into the next, right? So since we're talking about seasons, let's see how can I transition that so that we remain on the same tip. Let's say, as a black man, which I am, say bad seasons seem to never go away. That season seems to never go away. We absorb, and again, I'm thinking about sensory language, right, this time around. We absorb heat strokes of bullets. Our bodies that spring lightning, pain. Boom. Right. So now instead of saying that we have no access to justice, I'm telling you how I feel. I can paint a picture for you, right? So I transitioned from typhoon to like bad season seems to never go away. We absorb heat strokes. You're talking about season of bullets in our bodies that spring lightning pain, right? Vivid words. And I know you may be like, well, I'm writing this stuff and it seemed like it comes easy. It's not as difficult as it seems. It's just like I've had a little bit more practice over the years, but you can do it. Okay, because these are words that you know as well. It's just a matter of putting them in the right place. Let's see what else I can add to this. Typically when we have these wounds, they go untreated, right? Untreated conditions are our constant forecast. Okay, our constant forecast. Let's see. Minimal access to healthcare. Who cares? There we go. I transfer something over. Let's see, malignant and chronic racism. So let's bring this down a little bit. Malignant to chronic racism to propaganda pandemic. Now, propaganda just came to mind because, again, this was one of the words I didn't use in a rough draft, but I remember putting it right there. Right, so I'm thinking about my rough draft as I'm going through this, right? And and some of the words and ideas that I came up with that I probably did not use in a rough draft, they're still there, right? I can always go back to them, and that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so don't be afraid to go back to your rough draft to add certain things to malignant and chronic racism to propaganda pandemic. I'm living in a cold-hearted society where my Haitian people are being haunted by God. It's my cold, by ice, and if you don't, to be deported. So if you don't know what ICE is an acronym of what the government is using to deport people. So we don't have time to go into that. You can definitely go and Google that. So let's look at how I just transformed this, right? This little stanza right here into this, right? And I was a bit more descriptive, right? So I go, as a black man, bad seasons seems to never go away. We absorb heat strokes of bullets in our bodies that spring lightning pain. Untreated conditions are our constant forecast. Minimal access to health care. But who cares? Malignant and chronic racism to propaganda pandemic. I'm living in a cold-hearted society where my Haitian people are being hunted by ICE to be deported, right? And so things kind of flow into one another, okay? Cool, right? Again, you can pause the video, do your thing. If it takes you a little bit longer to come up with some ideas, perfectly okay, all right? I don't expect all of this to come out all at once, like I'm doing, and it's perfectly fine. Whatever you come up with, you can always go back to it. Okay, let's see what else. All right, so let's go to the next stanza, right? People dressed up as sheep are really wolves salivating with lion's teeth, media fabricating COVID-19 numbers in these United States of capitalism. All right, so how can I make that a lot better? Actually, you know what? So I may switch some things around. So as I'm thinking about my Haitian people, the first thing that come to mind is all my parents, right? I mean, is my parents, right? So maybe I'll switch it, and I can write something like, I got elderly parents who are unemployed, right? I'm trying to process George Floyd. My brain collides with feelings, rage over Aubrey Breonna Taylor. They still haven't. Let's put this up so you can see what I'm writing. They still haven't arrested her killers. So I got elderly parents who are unemployed. I'm trying to process George Floyd. My brain collides with feelings of rage over Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and they still haven't arrested her killers. Another traumatic imprint added to our psyche. Well, I changed that. Added to the sea of scars in our psyche. Okay. And again, add to your rough draft, okay? And the thing that I always like to tell people is that you don't necessarily have to mimic anybody else's work, right? Whatever comes out of you is exactly what it should be, because your voice is important and it matters. And what you have to say, the way you have to say it, cannot be duplicated. Understand that. You don't ever compare yourself to somebody else. You do your thing. However it comes to you, however you're blessed to do it, you do it. Right? Let's see what else. Actually, I have another video that I want to show you guys, but maybe we go through another stanza. We'll do that. Bring this down again so you can see what I'm writing. And that's when I'm going to be bringing down some of the things that I wrote, so you can see it. So you know what we changed and what we're working with, right? Okay. All right. At times, my heart rips. My heart rips. Got to be visual. Got to be vivid. To the white meat. Instead of saying my heart is broken, my heart rips to the white meat. But why? Why is my heart breaking? Since I was just talking about my elderly parents, let's stick to family a little bit more. Okay, because here I had family somewhere down here, and here I've talked about my black wife, black kids. So let's just keep it. Let's keep it kind of consistent and have it flow into each other, right? So through it all, I just talked about social injustice, what's going on from my parents, to social injustice. Through it all, thank God. Thank God. What are you thankful for? You should have plenty. If you're watching this video, you breathe in, you should be thanking God that you got breath in your lungs, right? I thank God for blessing me with a family. Instead of saying my black family, how can I elevate that? How can I paint a picture with that? The family covered with melanin skin. A Nubian wife with a cinnamon smile. See, I'm bringing the idea of taste now, right? Because I'm saying cinnamon. Cinnamon smile. And I describe my kids. Prince and princess offsprings. Okay, so from social injustice to family. Actually, let me go back up. Let's read what we have so far. How about that? All right, that's a lot. We wrote a lot so far. It's hard to smile when you're trying to survive in the eye of a typhoon. As a Black man, bad seasons seem to never go away. We absorb heat strokes of bullets in our bodies that spring lightning pain. Untreated conditions are our constant forecast. Minimal access to health care, but who cares? Malignant and chronic racism to propaganda pandemic. I'm living in a cold-hearted society where my Haitian people are being hunted by ICE to be deported. And I got elderly parents who are unemployed. I'm trying to process George Floyd. My brain collides with feelings of rage over Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and they still haven't arrested her killers. Where am I? Another traumatic imprint added to the sea of scars in our psyche. Through it all, I thank God for blessing me with a family covered with melanin skin, a Nubian wife with a cinnamon smile, prince and princess offsprings. Okay. Prince and princess offsprings. After this next stanza, we're going to take a break and go to another video. At times, my heart rips to the white meat when I look at them. About that. When I look at them. I look at them, again, I'm thinking about vivid, to paint a picture for you, the reader, the audience, the listeners. Vivid. When I look at them through burning tears. Because they don't know that they live on a racist land that wants them dead because of their skin color. At time, my heart rips to the white meat when I look at them, with burning tears, because they don't know that they live on a racist land that wants them dead because of their skin color. All right. Okay. So now we're going to go to another video. All right. So the name of this video is called Hope. It's a sensory poem. I didn't write it. You're going to see the name of the poet who wrote the video. And again, this is something very simple. I just put it off of YouTube. It's just giving you an opportunity to be able to see that you can create something and publish it to the world to inspire someone, right? To maybe help someone who's going through something very difficult. You don't necessarily have to have a publishing contract or come out with a album or whatnot. So you can just write a poem, create it as a PowerPoint slide, add some music behind it, and bam, this is what you get. So hopefully you enjoyed the poem, and hopefully it helped to spark some creativity. Okay. So as we wrap up this second session, we went from the rough draft to adding sensory language and imagery to our poem. All right. So let's see if we can wrap this up. Let's see. Where would I start? Where would I start next? So since we left off with me talking about my family and talking about my kids and my wife and so on and so forth, right? So specifically, I'm talking about my kids. At times, my heart rips to the white meat when I look at them through burning tears, because they don't know that they live on a racist land that wants them dead because of their skin color. And obviously, my kids are young, so they're not aware of everything that's going on at this time, right? So I don't want to utter words. Instead of saying other words, just say other empty words that whisper. That whisper. Let's see. Definite lies. That whisper definite lies in their ears, knowing that the death regardless of cautionary measures taken, we take. Right. So, and that's pretty much the way a lot of us are feeling these days as Black people, especially Black men in our community. We feel like, regardless of what we do, whether we follow the rules and do what's supposed to do, our interactions with some police officers, I'm not going to say all, because all are not bad, but a lot of our interactions, even if we do the right things, we still end up dead. And it's crazy, and it's a hard truth to be able to explain to kids, but it is a harsh reality that we live in right now. So, okay, so let's go. Where do we go from here? We go to, where would our next stanza go into? Okay, this is America. Right, this is America. Let's see if we can use something that we used before. The land of the free. There we go. The land of the free. The land of the free, right? That's what I put there. The land of the free, land of the brave, the land of the slave, the land of the grave. Okay, and again, that's the exact same thing that I took out of my rough draft right here. Okay. All right. So, moving on. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. Let me keep some of the things that I have not used yet closer to the bottom where I can see them, right? To help me remember those things are, right? And also, I can always also go back to my to my brainstorm session and pay attention to some of the words that I probably didn't use yet. Maybe looking at some of these things may spark ideas for my next line. Okay, so let's scroll back down. All right, so we're here. All right, life and these last days are upon us like a thief in the night. Okay, same thing that I believe you used right here, right? So I ended it like that last time. So that means I'm going to end it different, right? But I put it there because it came to mind, and I was looking at it, so it's okay. I can rearrange it. That's why it's a rough draft. Deep in the night. Um, that's why I am on my grind. And on, I use beast mode. Let's use beast mode again. On beast mode. What am I on beast mode with? Or for? It's beast mode with my faith in Christ. So when dust comes to take over my body, right? Because after we're gone and go 6 feet under, we turn to dust, right? So when dust comes to take over my body, I want to secure my ambassador visa transition into eternity. Okay. All right. So we can stop there. Right. So see, wasn't that hard? Was it? Wasn't that hard? All right. Should I read the whole poem? Yes. You want to hit? Yes. Maybe. I read it anyway. All right. So session 2. So here this. So we came from here. Now we're here. It's hard to smile when you're trying to survive in the eye of a typhoon. As a Black man, bad season seems to never go away. We absorb heat strokes of bullets in our bodies that spring lightning pain. Untreated conditions are our constant forecast. Minimal access to health care, but who cares? Malignant and chronic racism to propaganda pandemic. I'm living in a cold-hearted society where my Haitian people are being hunted by ICE to be deported. See, I got elderly parents who are unemployed. I'm trying to process George Floyd. My brain collides with feelings of rage over Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and they still haven't arrested her killers. Another traumatic imprint added to the sea of scars in our psyche. Through it all, I thank God for blessing me with a family covered with melanin skin, a Nubian wife with cinnamon smile, prince and princess offsprings. And at times, my heart rips to the white meat when I look at them through burning tears because they don't know that they live on a racist land that wants them dead because of their skin color. And I don't want to utter empty words that whisper deafening lies in their ears, knowing that death may come regardless of precautionary measures we take. This is America, land of the free. I mean, the land of the brave. I mean, the land of the slave. I mean, the land of the grave. Life in these last days are upon us like a thief in the night. That's why I'm on my grind and on beast mode with my faith in Christ. And when dust comes to take over my body, I want to secure my ambassador visa to transition into eternity. Right? Okay, cool. So that's our second poem. And we are, again, going to make it even better, okay, by adding to it our next session, which is going to be session number 3. So make sure you guys come back and check out our next session where we're going to seek to use a lot more of figurative languages, right? Figures of speech to see if we can make the poem a little bit better than what it is now. All right. So hopefully you guys learned some things through this session. Again, put it in the comments below, like the video, share the video, check me out, BerwickAugustin.com, Evoke 180, and thank you again for watching. And I'll see you next time on session number 3. Peace.